Test, test. Hi, beautiful people. How are ya? I hope you're having a great day. I got a new coffee mug. I think I want 2 of them so I can hang them on hooks where my coffee pot is. I went to the dentist yesterday. No cavities. Yay. I have to go every 3 months because I had all of these teeth, lower teeth, capped. And I have to go back next week to have that dental implant checked that I have down here. So, yeah, so much going on. And I've really appreciated very much doing one large video a week. It gives me time to really work on my home. I'm trying to get a lot of things done while I have my vision, because y'all know I love my projects, things to do right now. I'm working outside. Last year or the year before, it was probably last year, I shared our front lawn up around our front deck and really worked on making that pretty. Well, it got to be a mess again with weeds, so I'm redoing that area. So I may show it to you afterwards, but that's keeping me busy and it wears me out. And I need a day of nothing the next day. But that's when I sit here and do my research and write my script and get prepared for a video. So I love you all. Thank you for being here. I mean, there wouldn't be a channel without you, so I appreciate you. My end goal is to bring more awareness to fibromyalgia. It seems that it's becoming more aware. People have their opinions on what they think it is, what they've heard either on TV or on the internet or however, through a friend or a family member. And a friend of mine that I had lunch with said, "Oh, yeah, that has to do with the pineal gland." And I said, "Yeah." But I was talking about something else, so I continued with that. She mentioned the pineal gland again. So I thought, let me see if I've ever talked about the pineal gland, and I have not. So today we're going to learn about the pineal gland and the hormone that it secretes called melatonin. Now, I'm pretty sure I've talked about melatonin, but not in this much depth. The thing is, early research showed melatonin being such a huge part of fibromyalgia. Today, we know so much more. It's just a teeny tiny little part of it. But for some people, melatonin can be a really big deal. So that's why I'd like to share this with you all. And many people with fibromyalgia and ME/CFS have problems with their sleep. In fact, one study found that 99% of fibromyalgia patients suffered with poor sleep quality. And in turn, that affected how severely they experienced physical pain, fatigue, and social functioning. Studies have shown that poor sleep plays a vital role in cardiovascular issues, something that we don't want tagged on to our fibromyalgia issues. So today, let's learn about this powerful endocrine gland. Here we go. The pineal gland is highly vascularized, meaning it contains blood vessels. and is a secretory neuroendocrine organ. It's located in the midline of the brain, outside the blood-brain barrier, and is attached to the roof of the third ventricle by a short stalk. The cerebrospinal fluid bathes it. Melatonin is secreted at varying rates throughout our 24-hour cycle, but the highest secretion occurs in the middle of the night and decreases as it gets closer to dawn. It's a complex process where an enzymatic conversion of tryptophan to melatonin occurs via intermediate molecule serotonin. And I know I've talked about that before. This schedule of release is based on the amount of light in the environment that the pineal gland receives from the retina. The retina sends this information to a nucleus in the hypothalamus called SCN. And from there, it makes its way to the pineal gland. In addition, circadian rhythm is controlled through this process, and the SCN attains information about the time of day. For individuals with depressive symptoms during winter, when darkness is longer, it's suspected that abnormal melatonin secretion plays a role. With that in mind, melatonin has been investigated as playing a role in promoting sleep. We know serotonin is a chemical neurotransmitter that carries messages between nerve cells and influences mood, sleep, digestion, nausea, and more. About 10% of serotonin is produced in the brain. Serotonin increases melatonin production. So serotonin is required to make melatonin. Both of these can be taken as a supplement. Sources of tryptophan can be taken to help make serotonin in our bodies. But 5-HTP is also a supplement that converts L-tryptophan to serotonin. I personally have never taken any of these. Have you? Proper levels of melatonin secretion are important for optimal health of the central nervous system. As a neuroendocrine organ, the pineal gland's main function is the nighttime secretion of melatonin. It has cells that resemble the back of the retina. That caused me to wonder how it works with the blind. Although I am going to be legally blind in the next few years, and hopefully not sooner, I don't think my sleep-wake cycle will be affected because I'll still have light coming in through my peripheral vision. Dr. Michael Roizen, MD, and I've put a link to his explanation below, stated that in human beings, light is likely sensed through special receptors in the back of our eyes that don't actually provide vision, but do dictate our circadian rhythms. Even the blind have this rhythm, he says, indicating that our pineal gland, along with other neurological inputs, can substitute for these special cells in our eye. However, this isn't always the case. Sighted people take this synchronization of the sleep-wake cycle and alertness for granted. But when we are jet lagged or work a night shift, I've done both, some of the consequences of circadian desynchrony can be experienced. Most blind people with no perception of light experience perpetual circadian desynchrony through a failure of light, resulting in cyclical episodes of poor sleep and daytime dysfunction. I've seen ads for medication that can help reset their circadian clock. Have you? They have a circadian rhythm sleep disorder called non-24, According to the website fightingblindness.org, non-24 is a very rare condition affecting many, but not all people who are totally blind and have absolutely no light perception. Their circadian clocks become out of sync and sleep-wake cycles drift day to day by varying degrees. Because people with retinal degeneration and severe vision loss need navigational canes, talking computers, and other technology, a vast majority have some level of light perception and are not, therefore, at risk for non 24. In addition, even people who have lost all of their rods and cones may not get non 24 because the cells in the retina that regulate circadian clock, the photosensitive ganglion cells, usually survive after photoreceptors are gone. It's pretty interesting. And even if there is no light perception coming into the eye, those photosensitive ganglion cells are probably still functioning and sending signals back to the brain to synchronize the clock. Very cool. If the retinal ganglion cells and/or the optic nerve is affected, those are the people who are more likely to have non 24. And that makes me very thankful that we found my optic neuropathy in my right eye when we did. I have just lost this part of my vision because of that, but it could have been the whole eye. But like people with fibromyalgia, they may have a sleep disorder that's not even related to vision loss. Melatonin has a wide range of neuroprotective roles by regulating pathophysiological mechanisms and signaling pathways. Melatonin decreases with age and is found decreased in certain disorders and diseases. Early research in fibromyalgia suggested that people with this condition had lower nighttime levels of melatonin. That was in the early research, which would make it more difficult to fall asleep and tire us out throughout the day. However, current research on fibromyalgia and ME/CFS have found melatonin levels normal or actually increased in fibromyalgia. However, studies have shown in fibromyalgia that melatonin improves symptoms in some people. So, melatonin supplementation may be an effective treatment, but more studies are needed. You can buy melatonin supplementation. My daughter's children, when they were adolescents, took melatonin every night at bedtime. They noticed a difference. And when they spent the night here, they would ask for their melatonin if I forgot to give it to them. They took it in gummies. But always talk to your doctor before adding supplementations. I can't talk about treatment without talking about food. Melatonin-rich foods include eggs, tart cherries, mushrooms, nuts, and milk, as well as fish like salmon and tuna. Food sources of tryptophan include meats such as chicken, turkey, and pork, salmon, eggs, tofu, milk, oats, squash, and pumpkin seeds. I don't know about drug treatments for sleep. My fear is always about forming a habit on a medication. Then I'm very careful about that. But I am familiar with muscle relaxers enough to say that after I take my muscle relaxer, I'm asleep in 40 minutes, sometimes sooner. So that works for me. But you might have restless legs causing you issues. So talk to your doctor because there is treatment for that too. And sleep apnea can cause many sleep issues. I know that. So talk to your doctor. Maybe getting tested is the thing for you because treatment makes a difference. Exercise, or in fibro talk, we say movement, can help with sleep. Regular movement is an essential part of fibromyalgia treatment. Daytime workouts can improve nighttime sleep, but if you perform activity within 3 hours of bedtime, you could be wound up too much to fall asleep. Many of us love swimming in a pool. Others love Tai Chi or yoga. Others combine these with meditation and use slow, gentle movements and deep breathing. Less pain, stress, and better sleep can result. Maybe you like soothing sounds at bedtime. My husband plays music in his ears. I don't know how he does it. I couldn't do that, but it puts him right to sleep. And after a while, he removes his headphones. I need the quiet. Well, we have the humming sound of a fan blowing, so I can't sleep without a fan. That white noise is very pleasing to me. Cognitive behavioral therapy by a licensed therapist can teach us to change our thoughts about sleep. The brain is a powerful tool for wellness, isn't it? CBT may improve alertness and thinking ability, and you might have less anxiety, especially if you're stuck in a negative spiral. CBT was helpful for me. Have you tried it? Have you worried that you won't be able to sleep because of pain, which in turn makes pain worse and it's harder to sleep? But if you ask my husband, the most important thing to do is to go to sleep and rise at the same time each day, called a sleep schedule. And yep, that's everywhere. I mean, we schedule everything else. Why shouldn't we schedule our sleep? A sleep specialist will tell you to make sleep a priority and to set a sleep schedule. So we should go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time each day, including the weekends. That's important. Our bedroom should be a tranquil environment. Keeping the room dark and cool is important. Try not to take daytime naps. Well, I do on occasion, especially after I've been working really hard doing something physical. It wears me out. And I'll go in and I'll take a hot bath or a hot shower, come back in, do my chair back there that my doggies like, and I'm out cold for about 10 or 15 minutes. So I know I wouldn't purposefully lay down and take a nap during the day. That would tell me that I need to do something about my nighttime sleep. But how are you all doing? So, a warm bath, deep breathing, a quiet room, and turning off all our gadgets about an hour before lights out can help. But what works for you? Please share it with us below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you learned something. I send you gentle hugs and support. Love you. After pulling the weeds out of all of this, I laid that black plastic down right there. But see how the grass grows right up to it? I'm going to end up with the same horrible problem as before. This is one side. Over here is what I have been doing. I dug a ditch-like area all along here. See that? All along here, all the way around. There's the dirt that I pulled out of it. And all the way up the side of the house. And hopefully that'll keep the grass and weeds at bay a little bit better, and my husband can mow up to there a lot easier. So that's where I'm at. I gotta bring it all the way down around here, and look at that. So I think I'm going to put the black plastic all the way up, all along here, and dig a trench here too. I think, at least I hope that's going to make it really pretty.